Hi again, everyone. Doris, say hi. Hi. Thank you again for helping Doris find all those Easter eggs. We have a really special book that I want to share with you in addition to that. It's called I'm in Charge of Celebrations, and it's written by Bird Baylor, and the pictures are by Peter Parnell. Bird Baylor is one of my favorite childhood book or children's book authors. It's a little bit long, so just relax and enjoy. It has a really, really sweet message. Sometimes people ask me, aren't you lonely out there with just desert around you? I guess they mean the bare grass, the yuccas, and the cactus, and the rocks. I guess they mean the deep ravines, the hawk nests in the cliffs, and the coyote trails that wind across the hills. Lonely? I can't help but laughing when they ask me that. I always look at them surprised. And I say, how can I be lonely? I'm the one in charge of celebrations. You see her? Sometimes they don't believe me, but it's true. I am. I put myself in charge. I choose my own. Last year I gave myself 108 celebrations, besides the ones they closed school for. I cannot get by with only a few. Friend, I'll tell you how it works. I keep a notebook and I write the date, and then I write about the celebration. I'm very choosy over what goes in that book. It has to be something I plan to remember the rest of my life. You can tell what's worth a celebration because your heart will pound and you'll feel like you're standing on top of a mountain, and you'll catch your breath like you were breathing some new kind of air. Otherwise, I count it just an average day. I told you I was choosy. Friend, I wish you'd been here for Dust Devil Day. But since you weren't, I'll tell you how it got to be my first real celebration. You can call them whirlwinds if you want to. Me, I think dust devils have a better sound. Well, anyway, I always stop to watch them. Here, everyone does. You know how they come from far away, moving up from the flats, swirling and swaying and falling and turning, picking up rocks and sand and feathers and dry tumbleweeds. Well, last March 11th, we were all going somewhere. I was in the back of a pickup truck when the dust devils started to gather. You could see they were giants. You'd swear they were calling their friends to come too, and they came dancing in time to their own windy music. We all started counting. We all started looking for more. They stopped that truck, and we turned around and around, watching them all. There were 7. They look like little tornadoes, huh? Compared to that truck. They were really close. At a time like that, something goes kind of crazy in you. You have to run to meet them, yelling all the way. You have to whirl around like you were one of them, and you can't stop until you're falling down. And then all day you think how lucky you were to be there. Some of my best celebrations are sudden surprises like that. If you weren't outside at that exact moment, you'd miss them. I spend a lot of my time outside myself, looking around. Once I saw a triple rainbow that ended in a canyon where I'd been the day before. I was halfway up a hill, standing in a drizzle of rain. It was almost dark, but I wouldn't go in because of the rainbows, of course. And there at the top of the hill, a jackrabbit was standing on his hind legs, perfectly still, looking straight at the same triple rainbow. I may be the only person in the world who's seen a rainbow standing in the mist, quietly watching 3 rainbows. That's worth a celebration anytime. I wrote it down and drew the hill and the rabbit and the rainbow and me. Now, August 9th is Celebration Rainbow Day. See the jackrabbit? I have Green Cloud Day too, Ask anyone, and they'll tell you clouds aren't green. But late one winter afternoon, I saw this huge green cloud. It was not bluish green or grayish green or something else. This cloud was green. Green as a jungle parrot. And the strange thing was that it began to take a parrot shape. First the wings, then the head and beak. High in the winter sky, that green bird flew. It didn't last more than 1 minute. You know how fast a cloud can change, but I still remember how it looked. So I celebrate green clouds on February 6th. At times like that, I always think, what if I'd missed it? What if I'd been in the house? Or what if I hadn't looked up when I did? You can see I'm very lucky about things like that. And I was lucky on Coyote Day because out of all time, it had to be one moment only that a certain coyote and I could meet. And we did. Friends, you should have been there too. I was following deer tracks, taking my time, bending down as I walked, kind of humming. I hum a lot when I'm alone. I looked up in time to see a young coyote trotting through the brush. She crossed in front of me. It was a windy day and she was going east. In that easy, silent way coyotes move, she pushed into the wind. I stood there hardly breathing, wishing I could move that way. I was surprised to see her stop and turn and look at me. She seemed to think that I was just another creature following another rocky trail. That's true, of course, I am. She didn't hurry. She wasn't afraid. I saw her eyes and she saw mine. That look held us together. Because of that, I never will feel quite the same again. So, on September 28th, I celebrate Coyote Day. Here's what I do. I walk the trail. I walked that day, and I hum softly as I go. Finally, I unwrap the feast I've brought for her. Last time it was 3 apples and some pumpkin seeds and an ear of corn and some big, soft, homemade ginger cookies. The next day, I happened to pass that way again. Coyote tracks went all the way around the rock where the food had been, and the food was gone. Next year, I'll make it even better. I'll bring an extra feast and eat there too. Another one of my greatest celebrations is called the Time of Falling Stars. It lasts almost a week in the middle of August, and I wait all year for those hot summer nights when the sky goes wild. You can call them meteor showers if you want to. Me, I like to say they're falling stars. All that week I sleep outside. I give myself full attention to the sky. Every time a streak of light goes shooting through the darkness, I feel my heart shoot out of me. One night, I saw a fireball that left a long red blazing trail across the sky. After it was gone, I stood there looking up, not quite believing what I'd seen. The strange thing was, I met a man who told me he saw the same thing too while he was lying by a campfire 500 miles away. He said he did not sleep again that night. Suddenly, it seemed that we too spoke a language no one else could understand. Every August of my life, I'll think of that. Ooh, that gives me the chills. Friend, I've saved my New Year celebration until last. Mine is a little different from the one most people have. It comes in spring. To tell you the truth, I never did feel like my New Year started January 1st. To me, that's just another winter day. I let my year begin when winter ends and morning light comes earlier, the way it should. That's when I feel like starting new. I wait until the white-winged doves are back from Mexico and wildflowers cover the hills and my favorite cactus blooms. It always makes me think I ought to bloom myself. And that's when I start to plan my New Year's celebration. I finally choose a day that is exactly right. Even the air has to be perfect, and the dirt has to feel good and warm on my bare feet. Usually it's a Saturday around the end of April. I have a drum that I beat to signal the day. Then I go wandering off, following all of my favorite trails to all the places I like. I check how everything is doing. I spend the day admiring things. If the old desert tortoise I know from last year's out strolling around, I'll go his direction a while. I celebrate with horned toads and ravens and lizards and quail. And friend, it's not a bad party. Walking back home, kind of humming, sometimes I think about those people who ask me if I'm lonely here. I have to laugh out loud. Okay, so this book is really special, especially during this time for a number of reasons. So for me, last Sunday was my birthday. And as you know, we're not gathering for group gatherings or anything. But my sister decided to create a celebration for me. Saturday night, she had me go onto one of those apps. I think we did Zoom, and we had my cousins, their kids, my aunts and uncles, my parents. We were all on there, and she organized a game for us to play. So that was really special. And we actually did appreciations for me, just like we do for the kids on their birthday walks. And then Sunday night, my sister organized another one through the House Party app with some really close friends of mine. So you can create your own celebrations, even when people might think this is a lonely time of staying inside. So I challenge you, especially with Easter coming up, and we might not be able to get together with our cousins or grandparents to do an Easter egg hunt. I challenge you to come up with your own celebrations. Some celebrations maybe you include with people on social media or on an app, or just with your mom and dad or your sister and brother. Maybe you get your stuffed animals out and you can have a celebration. But there are a lot of wonderful things happening right now that we can celebrate, even if we're at home, even if it's a rainy day, since we've had some rain this week. I challenge you to come up with your own celebrations. And if you feel so inclined, I would love to hear about your celebrations. If you want your mom or dad to send me a video, or you can text me what you're celebrating, or you can email it to me, and I can maybe compile some of your celebrations you've been doing and share them with our Nurturing Worth families. So today I want to celebrate all of you and our Nurturing Worth community by thanking you all for being a part of this and listening to my stories and sharing this really special time we have together and apart. It's really beautiful, and many beautiful things will come from it. I love you all, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend.